welcome to Of Lies and Rain. Now, when it comes to VR games, there's not a lot of really good story-driven shooters out there. There has been in the past, but they don't seem to come along quite as frequent as we would like them to. But the good people over at Castello Inc. hit me up a couple months ago and asked if I'd like to try out the demo for their game Of Lies and Rain. And I said sure. It looked pretty great. And luckily enough, they were kind enough to send me over a full key and check out the game. Now, right off the bat, something you'll realize the game does extremely well is represent a sense of scale. They did a really good job making you actually feel small in the game. As you make your way through the game, you'll start finding these things called GPUs. These are extremely important because these are what you need to actually upgrade your weapons. And to upgrade your weapons, you will need a lot of these things. These things are all over throughout the game in places that do not seem obvious. Sometimes they're in boxes that you need to break open along with other types of ammunition. Sometimes they're just at a dead end. This game really gives you a good reason to actually go back and explore every corner of the map that you can to try and make sure you're finding these GPUs to get those upgrades. Another thing they did really well with the game is how just VRAF it really is. Most items are all interactable, and then here, pretty quick into the game, you find a chalkboard that you can actually draw on, and it works really well. It feels very responsive, very well done, gotta say. Now, when it comes to certain things about the game definitely does feel very Half-Life Alyx, but more or less just the shell of it. Because you do have things like the gravity grab, and even the upgrades to your guns definitely feel a lot like Half-Life Alyx, and that's not a bad thing at all. Now, while the game, I wouldn't really say has puzzles in it, it does have little things that will make you stop and go, okay, how do I get through this section of the game? And they're relatively easy for the most part, but the further you get through the game, each one will make you think just a little bit harder. And as you make your way through the game, you'll come across different items that'll help you in certain areas. For instance, the oxygen mask, I want to call it. There's certain areas that are poisonous to your health. There's spores around or something like that. And if you don't have one of these masks on, you're going to have a hard time getting through this area. And then if you also don't have the mask on, it can create a respiratory issue with you, and you need to find an inhaler so that way you can help your character to not breathe so hard, which unfortunately can get a little bit annoying. Now, as you make your way through the game, you're going to come across these entry points to the data world, and some of these are mandatory to go through and others are optional. But the data world feels like a completely different game. And in a way it is, because it definitely plays like one. And the goal of the data world is really just to get to the end in the first few that you do. But as you make your way and start doing more, there's definitely some sort of virus or something that is in it, and you have to destroy it and make your way through to let the data get through to the other point. I don't really know, but it's really cool, and I like what they did here a lot, because basically one of your weapons will let you jump and the other one is for shooting, and that's just it. You make your way through the level and it's really cool. This is definitely the type of thing where they are not holding your hand. This is for people who play VR. When it comes down to it, Of Lies and Rain is a solid first-person shooter VR game that I highly recommend. It's a game that really rewards you for exploring the map and checking different routes, because finding upgrades for your guns is necessary. Now, even though I collected over 100 different GPUs, I still didn't even come close to fully upgrading all of my weapons. I imagine that there is plenty more, and I recommend, if you go through and play the game, explore, search, double back, look for ways that, oh, if there was a second option to go a different way and you went one way, double back and check the other route, because more than likely you're going to find either some GPUs or ammunition, something to help you out throughout the game. Not only that too, I love the fact that the game gives you a reason to open up every single drawer or locker that you come across, because you never know what might be inside of it. Even though the game isn't extremely high detailed or not, once you start making your way into the city and you get to these high up locations, it really is just a great feeling that they managed to pull off with this game, because you do genuinely feel like you are very high up. Now, something with stuff like this, the climbing in the game is pretty good, but it's something you do want to just make sure that you actually have a full grip before you reach for the next one, because it's also not perfect.
Adam, where are you?
Right now, just hanging out in the void.
What?
I guess you were right about the climbing.
Now, something that I really enjoy about Of Lies and Rain is they set out just to make a good VR game. There's clearly no signs here that they tried to hold back just for anyone who's a new player to VR. They made this game for VR players specifically, and that's great, because in my opinion, we need a lot more games like this that do that, because there's a lot of really fun games out there that really just don't deliver that much when it comes to the VR experience, and Of Lies and Rain definitely does that.
Here you are, as expected from his wretched legacy. The calm has moved into place.
I finally got you, fucker! Why do all this?
To be unshackled, to never be bound again.
You're fucking insane! This ends now! You hear me?
And with that, I'm gonna call it here. I'm gonna say Of Lies and Rain has a great final level to it with a fun boss fight. And if you're looking for a VR story-driven game to play, this is the game to check out. It has come out today, actually, September 10th. So get out there, pick it up, go play it, leave a great review. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.